Welcome to Death Valley, where a disappointing Clemson team that has not had the start to the season they were looking for hosts a number 7 in the country Florida State team that has only suffered one loss so far this season. What makes this matchup a little extra special, it is their first time meeting as SEC rivals. This Clemson team is talented though despite their record. Sophomore quarterback Cade Klubnik has very nice ratings and plays very well, and from the times we've seen him so far this season, he's put on a good show. And then the running game, they have one of the better running backs in the country in Will Shipley, who acts as a true stabilizing force for this offense and allows them to get those easy yards when they need it. Then the receiving core is led by Antonio Williams, who had a lot of experience last year and a lot of exposure in the offense, and we should expect a breakout for him. They also have guys like Brennan Spector and Bo Collins, who provide good skill sets and should provide quite a challenge for this FSU secondary if they're not up to the challenge. Then on the defensive side of the ball, they have a player like Xavier Thomas, who was a top recruit in the country out of high school, but has suffered a lot of injuries and inconsistent play, and this is really his chance to put his mark on his career at Clemson, so I would expect a big day out of him. And then you have another presence like Tyler Davis that has been around this Clemson program for a long time and is a nice, stable body for them. And I think this Clemson defensive line is going to be able to get a lot done against Florida State's offensive line, and they're going to have to be ready for a true fight in the trenches. Then at the linebacker position, Clemson is stacked. They have two of the better ones in the country with Barrett Carter at left outside linebacker, who's going to fly all over the field and probably be able to stop a lot of what Florida State wants to do on the offensive side. And then patrolling the middle is Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who is a super athlete and can really lead this defense for Clemson if they're going to pull off this upset of Florida State. They're going to need his play. Then on the recruiting front, they're bringing in top recruits during this weekend. They have KJ Bolden and Sammy Brown, who are both near the top of their positions in terms of rankings. And a win over Florida State might be what propels them and allows them to finish off some of these recruiting battles and let them be able to start building this elite class. But now it's time for football. Clemson is donning those purple jerseys, and it is time for kickoff. Florida State sends this one to the night, and it is time for some football. Will Shipley takes the kick. He is running it all the way back out near the 25, and the Clemson offense will start from here, led by Cade Klubnik, who had a kind of an all-right game in the last one, been very inconsistent so far in this sophomore season, but it is his first season starting full-time for the Clemson Tigers. First down is a play-action fake, rolls out to the left, and throws a dot to Bo Collins, who not only catches the ball, but then throws off a defender, and that's 18 yards for this Clemson offense. Time for a full house look from Clemson. They're going to try and throw a lot of different formations at Florida State, and this run by Shipley allows him to find 3 or 4 yards, and keeping this offense on schedule is going to be a big aspect for Clemson as they try to find their big plays. Another handoff to Shipley, and he's stopped for only 1 yard, and we have a quick third down now. Big time for Florida State's defense. Can they get off the field quickly? The snap goes to Klubnik. He looks deep, and he finds Bo Collins, who just seemed to slip between the zone defense there. A lot of miscommunication, some finger pointing from the Florida State defense. Doesn't matter, full house look again for Clemson. Run to the outside for Shipley. Runs hard and gets near the first down marker. That's 9 yards. And 2nd and 1 now for the Tigers, and they're moving quickly. Klubnik looking, finds his man to the outside. That's Spector. Always good to find the crease in the defense there, and now they have a first down. And after that first down, they're going to run it up the middle to Shipley, and it's been a nice, steady dose of him. Shipley's not a guy that's going to break off these massive runs, but he knows how to get the hard yardage, and that's such a crucial part of their offense. 2nd and 5 now for Clemson, this time with Moffa in the backfield, but they drop it off to the tight end, Bearingstool, and that's 7 yards and a score. So Florida State's slow starts on defense continue to carry over into this game. Now it's time to see if the Florida State offense can bring a little bit more of a consistent approach in the first part of the game. We've seen some slow starts from them recently. We'll see what Jordan Travis has up his sleeve. They're going to start their run with Trey Benson getting 3 yards, and the same way that Shipley operates in the Clemson offense should be how Florida State is trying to approach it and just getting those hard yardage where they can. Travis slips by a defender, rolls out to the right, tucks and runs, and doesn't look like he really had a lot of intent of throwing there, but that'll be an 11-yard rush and bring up a first down. Travis looking again, out to the right, and dropped. He did not see that one coming. It looked like he ran all the way to the sidelines, and Justin Mascol found him and just hit him hard, and it does not look like he enjoyed that presence there. So now drops it off to Destin Hill for a 5-yard catch, and this now brings up a 3rd and 15, big 3rd and long. We'll see if this Florida State offense can key something up. Just under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Travis gets the snap, rolls out to the right as he's done a couple of times so far, throws it deep, and that is Toronto Pride Jr., who comes out of nowhere and deflects that ball. It looked like the wide receiver for Florida State had good position, but did not see the corner be able to readjust and swat that away. Now Clemson has the ball back, 1st and 10. Fakes the handoff to Shipley, and Klubnik gets knocked. And that ball is loose, and Tatum Bethune, the linebacker, has it. And now Florida State will take over in plus territory and a chance to go and tie this game back up now with better field position. This is going to be a run for Rodney Hill, and that's 3 yards, and they're going to get things moving again. They went away from the run game, it seemed like, after the first part of the last drive. We'll see if that can be a more consistent presence. This time, a run to Lawrence Toafili, who actually will lose a yard on that play. And now the Clemson defense ready for another 3rd down stop if they can get it. 3rd and 8 for Florida State. And it looked like Travis was out of sync there. Got the immediate pass, tried to step up a couple, and then throws a ball in the dirt. And that will give Clemson, Clemson will not get the ball back because the Florida State offense is coming out for 4th and 8. They're in plus territory, wanting to go for it. And that throw does not even have any chance, even when you're throwing to a big wide receiver. So Florida State will have a turnover on downs immediately here, and that gives Clemson the ball back where they gave it to them, essentially. Klubnik has one of those throws where that's totally off the mark and no chance of finding a receiver. But they're going to respond with a run with Will Shipley for 9 yards, and now they have a 3rd and 1. The Clemson offense, you got to really stay with that run game at this point. You've been having so much success so far, and it looks like the pass game's doing decent, but stick to the run where things have been good. And oh no, it looks like Jared Verse now coming off the field and might have had his ankles tied up a little bit there, and oof, not a good look for Florida State as they lose their top-ranked pass rusher. And now Clemson runs right back through the heart of that defense for another almost 10 yards, and Will Shipley has 7 rushes for 42 yards, and things are definitely clicking for them. Florida State's defense gonna have to find something here, even missing their best player. Maffa runs through a couple of guys, bounces off them a little bit, but still loses 3 yards as there was nothing there, and now a 3rd and 3 for Clemson. Klubnik drops back, finds his man, Bo Collins, on the sidelines, 35 yards, and a score. That is 14-0 Clemson, as that is the punch in the mouth that Florida State is kind of used to, but this is the best team that they've fallen down to early like this. This early deficit seems to be a product more of defensive miscommunication. We are seeing wide receivers just running free at this point, and that is something that you cannot have happening, obviously, if you want to get back in this. So the defense is going to need to find a different gear, and the Florida State offense has got to be a part of that too and help the defense regroup a little bit. Travis on that snap steps up and into the pocket for 4 yards as Travis has a few carries already, but a couple of them kind of look unintentional, and the offense is definitely not in sync. They're going to have a handoff to Trey Benson now, and he gets those 6 yards to give Florida State a 1st down. Just like Will Shipley and Clemson, you have to think that Trey Benson is going to start figuring him more to this just because of the easy yards he can provide with his running style. And just as I say that, Benson finds a 2-yard loss, and Clemson looks a little more equipped to stopping the run than Florida State's defense has against Will Shipley so far. Toafili in motion. Travis looking, scanning, rolling out to the left this time, and he is dropped by Xavier Thomas, a guy we talked about in pregame as needing a breakout season to really live up to that stature as a number 1 recruit. And he chases down Travis here, who tried to roll out a different way, and he does not seem to be confident in the offensive line protection that he can be provided. And now it's a 3rd and 20 for Florida State. Snap to Travis, rolls out to the right, and there's going to be his man Winston Wright, who is knocked loose with the ball. 4th and 20, giving it back to Clemson, down 14 at the end of the first quarter. And now Florida State, the age-old story they've suffered at the first part of this season. Can they respond to an early deficit? These kind of starts have been against Boston College and Charlotte, but never against a team like Clemson, who could really shut the door on them early if the door stays open like this. Will Shipley starts the next drive with a run up the middle, and this one's his most effective of the game for 12 yards now. Will Shipley really carrying this offense, and now he's out to the outside, and he's going to find, another 12 yards. So the Clemson offense is not slowing down. This defense for Florida State has got to switch up what they're doing. It's clearly not working. He fakes the screen pass and lobs one to the end zone, and now Shaheem Brown, the safety, comes down with it able to navigate his way out to the 15-yard line. Could have just stayed in the end zone to save some yards, but kind of tried to be a hero there. It's only going to cost him about 5 yards, but Cade Klubnik, that was not a good decision when the screen pass wasn't there and hesitated and just threw it to the end zone. Now the Florida State offense, as they've always done on their drives, starting with a run up to middle to Benson, but that seems to go away later on in the drives, and they've been trying to stay to the pass game. But now he finds Winston Wright on a corner route, and Wright finds 37 yards, and he's past the 50, and now they're back in Clemson territory, and maybe starting to feel a little good. Roll out to the right now for Travis, and he's got his man. He throws it up. It's Kentron Portier for the score. 14-7 Clemson. They needed that 48-yard strike. Jordan Travis looked very disjointed early, was not liking his looks, was running a little too much, but now they have cut the lead in half, and it's time for Clemson to see what they have up their sleeve. Klubnik hands off to Shipley, and he'll run it up the middle for 4 yards, and that's one of the least effective runs he's had today, so progress, I guess, if you're looking at it from the Florida State defensive perspective. 2nd and 6 now for Clemson. Klubnik going to change the play, moves into more of a pistol look, this time to hand it off to Shipley, and there is nobody there to stop him, and I think you got to say that audible was a great look for Clemson, that there wasn't enough guys in the box to really stop Shipley, and they're just going to keep running it through. Full house look. Shipley up the middle again, and he is just finding no resistance from Florida State in the linebacking core. It's been all from guys in the secondary having to step up, and or you're just going to let a guy run like this. It just can't be sustainable. Now Phil Maffa gets dropped almost 5 yards in the backfield, but finds a way to turn that -5 into an 18-yard run in the plus territory, and now Clemson is back, 1st and 10, really moving the ball efficiently. They just got to finish the drives now. Klubnik looking for his man, and it's Shyheim Brown, the man with the interception on the last drive, dives in front of the ball, knocks it away, and it's a 2nd and 10 for Clemson, hoping to slow down their momentum. Hand off to Phil Maffa, running hard, and he'll pick up about half of it, and it's a 3rd and 5 for Clemson at this point. Big opportunity for Florida State to maybe slow down the bleeding a little bit, force a field goal if they can. And then Klubnik doesn't really even throw that near a receiver. It just goes through the back of the end zone, but they'll tack on that field goal and go up 17-7 with 5:49 remaining in the half. Hand off to Benson up the middle, and just a lot has not been there today. 5 rushes for 9 yards is certainly not the start that he was looking for. Travis making a couple of adjustments at the line. He stays in the pocket now, finds his man Keon Coleman, but he gets it knocked loose. And a couple of receiving drops have not been helping Florida State in the offense staying on schedule. Travis is going to have to work through it and just keep his guys moving. Couple of changes at the line. Travis steps up and hits Winston Wright in stride. He gets 9 of the 10, but Florida State, despite being deep in Clemson territory, knows they have to go for it. The Clemson offense is moving too efficiently. They can't afford a lot of punts, and Mike Norvell shows faith and runs the ball with Benson, and he gets 2 yards of the 4th and 1, and that'll bring them a 1st down and some temporary life on this drive to hopefully keep things moving. Another run to Benson, this time for 4 yards. It's starting to churn a little bit better for him. The yards per carry don't look great, but they gotta stick with it. Fakes the handoff to Benson this time, and Travis finds 10 yards on a designed run, and the offense looks a little bit smoother. Not perfect, but it's something for him. Travis rolls all the way out to the left, and all that running will get him 2 yards for 2nd and 8. Safety coming down on a blitz, and he knocks Rodney Hill back, and he will not even get to the line of scrimmage and loses a yard there. Travis rolls out to the right, finds his man Johnny Wilson, the big-time target, for 12 yards. And that's not bad that Travis rolls out like that. He's just got to have a plan of action when he's going out there, and it looks like on a couple of these plays he's been having more of a good look at what he's trying to do. This is a deep ball. Keon Coleman cannot come down with it, and it is a 2nd and 10 now. Hand off to Benson again, and he will go and bring this one right up the middle for 10 yards, and he gets them a new set of downs, 1st and 10 Florida State. Another handoff to Benson, this time a little bit off tackle for 5 yards, and now that gives them a 2nd and 5 where the playbook can open up a little bit. They're not forced into a lot of these passing downs. Play action look, steps up, throws it to Jaheim Bell in traffic, and that 19-yard catch will put Florida State at a 1st and goal from about the 2 or 3 yard line, hoping to punch this one in. Fakes the handoff. He's rolling out to the left. Does he have room in the corner? No. Jordan Travis will be 1 yard short. Handoff to Benson, and there is pay dirt. Florida State will cut this lead to 3 now. After that slow start, it looks like the Florida State offense is finding a little bit of a groove, and now they only face a 3-point deficit. Throw to Shipley, short for 5-6 yards, and now it's a 2nd and 5 for Clemson, up 17-14. Klubnik looking, and he gets dropped. Patrick Payton works off of his man and able to drop Cade Klubnik for a loss of 7 yards. And now they'll go back to Will Shipley for a run, and his 3 or 4 yards is not going to be a lot for him, and that's a 4th and 11 with under a minute to go. Florida State calls timeout, gets the ball back. They have aspirations of taking the lead before halftime, which would be pretty monumental after how they started. Travis rolling out to the right again, getting a lot of pressure up the middle, dumps it off to Keon Coleman. I think that's his first catch of the game, and that's 8 yards. They're going to run it quickly with Lawrence Toafili, reset the downs, hurrying up to the line. They've still got time. They've got one timeout, trying to be judicious with it at this point. Fires out to Hakeem Williams, the freshman, and he'll find his way out of bounds. Nice and savvy move. 29 seconds to go. One timeout. Plenty of looks. Now they're going under center, but 5 wide. Plenty of options. Let's see what matchup Florida State wants to find. Well, he's going to go roll all his way to the outside and throws it away. 2nd and 10. 25 seconds to go. More of a compact look on this play. Travis quickly finds Johnny Wilson. He's going to the end zone and steps out. It looks like he lost some awareness on that one. He was flying towards the end zone and just stepped out. Now, Travis looking to the end zone on 1st and goal and throws it away. 2nd and goal for Florida State. Throws to Johnny Wilson again, but this time wasn't even looking for it. Then drops it off on 3rd down to Marqueston Douglas in the score. 21-17 Florida State at the half. What a turnaround for Florida State. They looked like they were going to be dead in the water with how this Clemson team was playing. They were moving the ball at will against the Florida State defense. And then all of a sudden, things have just turned right back around. And now Florida State has the ball after halftime. It is 21-17 in their favor. Can they continue to capitalize? Travis, that rollout to the right again, dumps off to Coleman, 3 yards. 2nd and 7 now. Handoff to Trey Benson. He's going more to the outside off tackle. He's got plenty of room, rolling all the way down. And that will be 19 yards for Trey Benson, his best run of the game. And things are certainly opening up for this Florida State offense. Fakes the handoff and gets smashed right up the middle. Clemson sent a lot of pressure at him up the middle. And that's going to force a 2nd and 17 for the Florida State offense. Snap to Travis. Quick throw to Keon Coleman on a slant pattern. He'll take that slant up the middle and takes it for 21 yards and gives the Florida State offense a new set of downs. Next throw, Destin Hill takes the underneath route for some extra yards as well. 13 yards. Things are clicking at a really nice pace now. Handoff to Benson. Doesn't take it up the middle. Bounces it to the outside for 11 yards. They have a new set of downs again. 1st and 10 for the Florida State offense. 7:17 to go in the 3rd quarter. Travis rolls out to the right a bit, opens up a throwing window, and he finds his man Jaheim Bell with a beautiful throw that only his man can get to. And this will give Florida State a 28-17 lead, giving the ball back to Clemson. Now, the last time they had the ball, they were up 3. Now they're down 11, a lot of pressure on them. But they stick to what's been successful, and that's 12 yards to Will Shipley, getting the 1st down all on his own. Cade Klubnik drops back, looking, and dropped again as the Florida State pass rush is starting to find him. This time it was Dennis Briggs who got him on that play. Will Shipley run up the middle on 2nd and 17, gets 5 yards, but that still brings a 3rd and 12 and a lot of pressure on the Clemson offense. Klubnik has time, and he finds his man Antonio Williams. The number 1 receiver gets his first catch of the day, and that'll be a 1st down for Clemson. Run up the middle to Will Shipley, and there's 12 yards. You got to think every 1st down should be a run to Will Shipley. There's a chance it's a 1st down already, and if not, he's putting you in a great position on 2nd down. But they will throw on this 1st down, and hits his man Jake Beringstool for 2 yards. 2nd and 8 for Clemson. Phil Maffa in the backfield, and they're going to flip the play. See if they can get a little bit of a better look. Florida State having quite a few guys at the line of scrimmage trying to deter the run. And it'll be a throw from Klubnik and finds his man Bo Collins, who has had a sensational day so far. 4 catches, 91 yards, and a score. And that has to be the focal point of the Clemson passing attack that Florida State is keyed in on. This is going to be a run to Will Shipley, and he tries to take it to the outside, but Florida State says, no, sir, as Akeem Dent tackles him for a loss. and this is a 2nd and 11. Quick throw to Beringstool. Doesn't look like he was exactly ready, and that was more swatted away than anything else. And it's a 3rd and 11, big play for the Clemson offense, nearing red zone territory. Klubnik scans a little bit, rolls to the right, throws to the left, and Bo Collins again. He has been killing Florida State and just finding every open opportunity for himself. This will lead to a Phil Maffa 9-yard run, and the Clemson offense now finds itself at about the 2-yard line, hoping to punch this in, and that is Maffa with a 2nd consecutive rush, this time for a score. And now Clemson has cut this lead to 28-24, and we officially have a ball game on our hands, friends. Both teams seem to be clicking at a very nice level. Fakes the handoff to the running back. Travis dashing all the way near the 50-yard line. He has some room opening up, and I think both defenses are going to need to have a little bit of a reality check because these offenses are high flying right now. Look at that throw to Keon Coleman, rolling out to the left and then powering it with his right arm down the field. Jordan Travis, spectacular throw to Keon Coleman there. Follows it up with an 8-yard rush to Rodney Hill. They're really moving nicely now, 2nd and 2. But the Clemson defense steps up, and that's a 3-yard loss for Trey Benson trying to bounce that to the right. And now Florida State will need a play, 3rd and 5. Moves to the right a little bit, and he airmails this one, and the Clemson defender just knocks it down. Could have really gone for the interception, but that leads to a field goal for Florida State as they're up 31-24. Let me know if you've heard this one before. Will Shipley up the middle for very nice yardage. That's 7 yards, 2nd and 3 Clemson. Fakes the handoff. Here's Klubnik on the read option. He'll get 11 yards. 1st and 10 Clemson. And the Tigers are looking to tie this one up right before we head to the 4th quarter. Fakes the handoff, but that moves a little too slowly, and that with some edge pressure that gets to him and brings a sack down and 2nd and 18. Fakes the handoff to Shipley. Klubnik looks like he has some room to the right. Little stutter step. Fakes out the defender and able to get 14 yards, and it's 3rd and 3. Fakes the handoff again. He's got nice protection, trying to throw to the left. And no, sir, that is Renardo Green, the cornerback, who really should have picked that off, but just swats it away. And now Clemson gives the ball back to Florida State, 1st and 10. Handoff to Benson, looking to the left, but only finds 1 yard, 2nd and 9. With the 3rd quarter about to expire, clock ticking, Florida State holding on to this 1-score lead. Travis rolls out to the right as he normally does, looking for some room. Looks like he's got it this time, and just slides down, doesn't even get to the sideline. And now we only have a few seconds left in the 3rd quarter. They're going to end the 3rd quarter with a run to Benson, who wiggles his way around the outside and finds 7 yards. And now it is 4th quarter time. Florida State holding on to a 7-point lead as the 2nd and 3rd quarters have been very nice to them in the offense. We'll see if they can continue on with that momentum. 2nd and 3 for Florida State. Fakes the handoff. Throwing deep to Keon Coleman, and the Clemson defender recovered as he was uncovered on that play and then just really ran over, made a nice play. Florida State runs the ball with Benson on this one, though, on 3rd and 3. That'll be 4 yards. That's a 1st down for Florida State. Snap to Travis, steps up and throws to Jaheim Bell, and the tight end finds 9 yards of his own. 2nd and 1. A lot of nice looks for Florida State so far. Travis drifts back and throws a dart down to Hakeem Williams, deep down the field, fights off a defender, gets in the end zone, 47 yards and a score. What wonderful protection from the offensive line. Travis is able to step up and throw this ball to Hakeem Williams. It was a little underthrown on the ball, as you'll see here that he has to come back to the ball, but he's able to make the catch and run through these Clemson defenders, will not be denied his 1st career touchdown, and true freshman Hakeem Williams puts his stamp on the game and gives them a 38-24 lead. It's response time for Clemson. They're going to run the ball with Shipley up the middle, and he'll find about 6 yards for a 2nd and 4, under 8 minutes to go. Another run with Shipley, staying to what works for him, 8 more yards. See what you can chip away at Florida State, but I think they're okay with this. Phil Maffa runs the ball up the middle for 15 of his own, and that's going to be a little bit more of a hard pill to swallow. Florida State probably doesn't mind Clemson running since that will run more clock, but if they're going to be running at 15, 16 yards a clip, probably not so much. This time it's 7 for Shipley, and really it's kind of funny that Clemson does not need to throw the ball to get a ton of yardage at a time. They're able to just stay on the ground, but it is running a lot of clock, and they seem to not really be in a hurry. Maffa this time, he'll get 6 yards of his own. First and 10 for Clemson as they approach the 30-yard line. Under 7 minutes to go. Klubnik looking for a man, trying to scurry out of there, but can't find any lanes, and that's Daryl Jackson. The defensive tackle Miami transfer was able to get by his man and just explode and take down Klubnik. This is going to be a run from Maffa now to bring up a 3rd and 12. Klubnik has got time, throws to the right side. Bo Collins comes down with it, but they will say he's out of bounds. And now it is a 4th and 12 and might be the ball game if Clemson cannot find a way to convert. Klubnik sits back, scans, hits his man Randall. I think that's the first time we've heard that name today. And Randall gets them a first down. Big opportunity for Florida State to end this one. We'll see if they regret not being able to capitalize. 5 minutes to go. Handing this off to Shipley, and he's driven down. Florida State was ready for that one, and it's Akeem Dent with another tackle for loss and able to force a 2nd and 13. Hand off to Maffa. Only 1 yard this time, and the Florida State defense is definitely keyed in, and it is costing Clemson precious time, down 2 scores. This time they throw a floater to Brandon Spector, and that throw and catch actually loses a yard. He was better off just not catching it. 4th and 12, another big play. Does Florida State's defense have one more stop in them to really put a tamper on this? And instead of swatting it away, it's the linebacker DJ Lundy who jumps in front of that pass, bringing it down. Florida State takes over, just needing to run some clock now. Hand off to Hill, that brings up a 2nd and 10, clock running. What can Florida State's offense do? Can they put this one totally away now? Run to Benson to the outside, doesn't need to hit the out of bounds. They want to keep the clock moving. 3rd and 4, another run to Benson, and he has stopped short, and Clemson calls their first timeout, and they will get the ball back down 38-24, 2:47 to go. Klubnik in the pistol, gets the snap, he's got some room, throws it to Randall, and Randall's able to bounce off a defender, gets 6 yards of his own, clock still moving, and that's Florida State's best friend. Throws out to Shipley, who's able to shake a man, works through the man, and is driven out of bounds, but after a first down, that helps Clemson out a little bit on this drive. Now, Klubnik, quick throw to Spector. He's able to get out, 8-yard catch. Clemson really drawing dead here, down 2 scores. They need something to happen quickly, and throws out to Phil Maffa, so they lose 5 yards, 2:02 to go, 3rd and 6. Not exactly what you would be looking for. Snap to Klubnik, and he finds his man Stellato up the middle, and Troy Stellato will have 20 yards and get them a 1st and 10. And the offense is moving again, but just not quick enough if they really want to make up this deficit. He'll throw out to Noble Johnson. He gets his first catch. And Clemson cooking again, 1st and 10. Tries to get this one away, and Azarie Thomas blitzes from that safety spot and able to force a 2nd and 10 for Clemson. Under 2 minutes to go. Klubnik looking to the left, lofts it up, and that is Greedy Vance able to get his foot down, intercepting that pass. And now you will see Florida State put this game away, running the ball at will. Clemson using their timeouts. Nothing that Clemson can do. They will not see the ball. And this would be the finishing blow as Trey Benson able to get 25 yards and a runoff tackle. Florida State even able to get a nice run for Keziah Holmes up the middle, get him a touch in this kind of end part of the game. And it will finish off with Florida State able to take a knee here, and then one more ensuing knee on 3rd and 10 to finish this one off. And Florida State goes into Death Valley in a game they did not start well, as per usual, but still finding a way to win. This Florida State team, though, when they get cooking and the offense starts going, it's truly fireworks. They did not have a big volume game from their guys in terms of catches by any means, but there was plenty of guys that stepped up with big plays, and Jordan Travis able to do a little bit on the ground while throwing through the air. Only 17 completions, but quite a lot of yards. So very impressive for Florida State to come into a hostile territory, and they get their first SEC win over Clemson. As I was just talking about with Travis, he had a pretty interesting day. Only 17 of 28, 60% completions is fine, but 323 yards through the air, 19 yards per completion. There was just a ton of big plays open in the offense today, and it was really nice to see. And then it gets a little inflated with that 25-yard run at the end, but Benson did a fine job. He was okay today. There just wasn't a lot in that Clemson front four that they were giving him, and he was getting stopped for a loss or not a lot of yards, and it seemed like that was the case for all of our running backs. And then receiving-wise, again, not a lot of volume where guys had a ton of catches, but big plays. Keon Coleman had one. Jaheim Bell had his touchdown. Winston Wright had a really nice play that got the offense moving. Hakeem Williams, 2 catches for 61 yards and a score, looking great. Marqueston Douglas had his first touchdown of the season. And then Kentron Portier, able to slip by a defender, makes a huge play down the field, and that was really nice to see. Then on the defensive side, Shaheem Brown had an amazing day, had the interception, but also had a deflection on a ball that looked like Clemson had a chance for a touchdown, able to get in that passing lane and made a nice play. And then Akeem Dent had a couple of really nice tackles for losses on Shipley that deterred a couple of their drives. And then even with Jared Verse going out early in the game, we were able to generate 4 sacks, which was really nice to see as well from a couple of guys that have had nice seasons in Patrick Payton and Daryl Jackson. And then obviously 3 interceptions is very nice, especially when we don't turn the ball over. So overall, I would say a really nice day for Florida State, and I'm happy with the way we played. I kind of know that the slow starts happen. That's kind of how this game goes, but overall, not too shabby, I would say, for a Florida State team that's heading into a big game next week. We complete the South Carolina road trip by playing the South Carolina Gamecocks. We've only seen them one time this year in the recaps. They beat Georgia earlier in the year, actually, and then they lost to UNC, so I think twice, actually, that we've seen them. So they'll be an interesting team. We'll see how Spencer Rattler and that squad is ready to go against our team. We'll try to have a more concerted effort to get off to a better start, but that's all things that we'll worry about in the next episode. The important thing is we won the game. And as always, go Noles.